Hey, it's Jada Wada here, and welcome to my crazy world. So, today I am going to tell you how to really celebrate Autism Acceptance Month. And bear with me, I have some notes that I'm going to read from, and I just want to give you guys just some tips on how to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month. And Autism Acceptance Month is usually celebrated in April, of course, and it's really just a time for us to come together to promote understanding, inclusion, neurodiversity, and just acceptance of all autistic people. So we're going to dive in and learn how we can make a difference this month. And I mean you too. So, before we're going to get into some logistics. So don't be afraid to hit that like button and then comment one thing that you learned about autism, or an autistic person that inspires you or that you know of. It could be someone famous. It can be someone that you personally know or you've been around. So we're gonna get this started. So the first thing, the first step to celebrating Autism Acceptance Month is actually knowing and understanding what autism is. So autism, or the scientific term autism spectrum disorder, is a neurodevelopmental disability that affects how usually a person communicates, interact with others, and experiences the world around them. And for me, growing up autistic, I was diagnosed at 2 years old. My mother told me the months, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to get it wrong. But it was 2 years old. 18 months. Yeah, so technically 2. So I remember growing up, just learning how to fit into this world and just navigating the world, and also learning just how to communicate. I didn't talk until I was 3.5, and I had a lot of learning delays and just a lot of different challenges, especially in school and with socializing and things of that nature, and just dealing with the world around me and just processing everything differently compared to my other peers. So I have done with that a lot, and I have talked about my story before. And if you want to look at the previous video where I share about who I am, you could go watch that. I go a little bit more in depth with that, so be sure to watch that video. I really did great. So we are going to another thing how you can celebrate Autism Acceptance Month is also celebrating neurodiversity. So now you have a basic understanding of autism. So now we're going to talk about celebrating neurodiversity. So neurodiversity is the concept that neurological differences are a natural part of human variation. So instead of seeing autism as something that's negative, like a disorder that needs to be fixed or cured, and I'm telling you around here in my world, we're anti-curing autism, because it's not a disease. It's not something that needs to be getting rid of. So I'm completely against it. Instead of just trying to cure it, it actually encourages us to celebrate the unique perspectives and skills and experiences that me and so many other autistic individuals bring to the table, because we definitely bring a lot. So now that we have shared the basics of it, I am going to share some things that can help you understand, and you can also promote the acceptance. So step 1, listen very closely. Educate yourself and others. So what does that entail? So you can do that by reading books. You can read books about neurodiversity. You can also read books about autism. And there are so many good books out there that really centers and does a really good job at actually centering autism and centering autism in a positive light. And I think that's important to know, because since the autistic self-advocacy movement has been really big, I think that just reading about it and reading it from actual neurodivergent perspectives, and even actual autistic people and other just individuals that do a good job representing it, I think it's important to, read those books and also watch documentaries that center autism in a positive light and different podcasts. There are many different podcasts that's ran by autistic people, and that's where we talk about our experiences and actually, have these conversations. And you can also share it with your family. I think that if you have this good information, be sure to share it with people, because that's the only way that change will happen and that more people will understand, is if you actually share it with friends and family. And that's how the support comes, and that's how other people can actually, grow and expand the mindset. So yeah, be sure to educate yourself, watch some documentaries and watch some movies too, and listen, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And another thing, and this one I believe is very, 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 very important, and I say that as an individual myself: amplify autistic voices. And what I mean by that is not only sharing content by autistic people, but also make sure that you're supporting them individually. So follow them, share what they do, and also you could feel free to if you're inviting an autistic person to speak at an event or some kind of show, make sure you compensate us, because a lot of my peers, they do a lot of things, and I can say this for myself. I have done a lot of speaking engagements, and I have spoke on a lot of things, especially in my experience living as an autistic person. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't get compensated fairly. And I will say that I have done speaking engagements, and I'm blessed to have done maybe a couple of things where I actually was compensated fairly. But unfortunately, there are some that even have the wealth don't. So big brands, big corporations, if you're watching this, if you really want to hear a perspective, if you really want to amplify our voices and get our stories heard, then make sure to compensate us. Get us in those rooms. Get us in those conversations. Make sure that you are centering our voices and not using us to save face. So just, and especially if there's a lot of talented autistic people that's out there. I know that Chloe Hayden's a great individual, and she's from Australia. She's amazing, and she does really, really well with sharing her story, and then also just playing authentic roles, being a Heartbreak High and actually playing an autistic person. And then also so many other individuals out there. Black Infinity King, he's one of my favorite creators. And then My Autistic Soul, and just so many other individuals that I love. So be sure to not only watch their content, follow their content, share their content, but also compensate us fairly, because I think that's really, really important. Next thing is creating inclusive spaces. So there has been a lot of talks, of course, on hiring autistic people in the job force and things like that, because of course 81% of disabled individuals are unemployed, unfortunately, due to the lack of accommodations and inclusivity. And it's changing, but there's always room for improvement. And half of them actually are autistic. And one of the things that I've struggled with when it came to finding a job, and I love the job that I have now, so shout out to Big Fur, I love you guys. But one of the struggles that I had when it comes to applying a job is job places not being considerate with accommodations. And I think that, especially when there are some that look like me, that you don't really have the stereotypical look, I think that it's a lot harder because they expect you to handle it. But it's really important for these places to make sure that they give us accommodations and make sure that the workplace is truly accessible. So and we're not even talking about the workplace, but making sure the home is accessible, making sure that the home is a safe place for so many autistic individuals, so that way they can be successful, they can thrive, they can be able to do what they need to do. And if they're struggling, they can always go to that space to focus on what they need to focus on and to be able to accomplish all the goals that they have and grow as a person. Even though we do a lot of these things, there's always room for growth. You never stop growing. So, and especially if you making sure that, especially children and adults too, if you are a museum, if you are art place, if you are some kind of venue, making sure that you are offering sensory-friendly events. And that's really, really important. I think sensory-friendly events are amazing, so include that. And then also concert venues and malls and shopping centers and just different stores offering quiet spaces. And then also making sure that you're using inclusive language. So don't use any language that can be offensive and dividing. So using inclusive language, offering sensory-friendly events and spaces, and then also providing quiet spaces. And then another thing is also supporting autistic-friendly businesses and organizations. So there are a lot of places that employ disabled people, but there are also good places that not only employ autistic people, but center us and center our voices. So if there are some places that do genuinely and authentically center and support autistic people and hire us, make sure that you give them all your money, and then also donate to organizations that support autism acceptance, and then advocacy, because that's a really big thing. Advocacy and acceptance is extremely important. And last but not least, and this is really important for my non-autistic peers, even non-neurodivergent peers, and some neurodivergent peers too, which is to be an ally. So what does that mean with being an ally? Well, that means you will stand up against ableism and discrimination. And it's a really big thing because a lot of times, people, they judge us and they don't know what to do with us, and there are these negative stereotypes, and a lot of us are judged by a lot of people, and they don't know what to do with us, and they have this misconception of us, and they think they're weird. So if you are in a situation where an autistic person may be bullied, or an autistic person may be just struggling, and that person is just being a meanie, and we don't like that, speak up for them. And then also just be a friend to them if you can. Be kind to them and just support us truly, because you wouldn't like it if someone that you knew, and they don't have to be disabled or autistic, are being mistreated. So if you would do that to someone that isn't disabled, you would do that to an autistic person too. So stand up for them, and then just be a friend to them, and just be a good ally to them, especially if that person has been mistreated. So to summon up everything, Autism Acceptance Month is just an opportunity for all of us to learn, grow, and work together to just create a more inclusive and accepting world for everyone that's autistic. And by celebrating neurodiversity, make sure you recognize the unique strengths and abilities that us as autistic people possesses. And also, thank you guys so much for just being able to join in on the movement with making a difference, not even just in April, but and beyond. So that concludes the video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If this video inspire you or enlighten you in any way, give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends, comment something that you learn, and then hit the notification bell so that you never ever miss a video. So let's make autism acceptance worldwide, nationwide, bring true autism acceptance to the entire globe. So bye everyone. I hope everyone just has just a beautiful rest of the month, and I'll see you guys next month. Jada Waiter out.